Okay, welcome to Menopause Month. I am chatting with Julie Garrido, who is a wonderful yoga for menopause person. And I think a good starting point is let's recap on how yoga can help with peri symptoms.
Oh gosh, I know we're short for time and I can go on for hours, but thank you for inviting me to chat. And yes, so for those who don't know yoga, every time you step on a yoga mat, you detoxify the body. So if you are detoxifying the body, you're removing tension and toxins and all the blockages that we hang on to. It could be emotional blockages. You just had a row with someone in the car and it sits with you, right? Or it could be that, you haven't slept and your body's fatigued and it's not moving in the right way. So by moving the body with yoga, we detoxify and we kind of clear out all this stuff. But yoga is like an all-round medicine without a prescription that works on all these different levels. So it's not just physical, it's mental and it's emotional. And specifically, certain poses stimulate the endocrine system, which is up here in the brain, which is like the control center for all the hormones. So for example, every time you tip over and do a forward fold, whether you're standing or seated, you send a fresh blood supply to this area. So you're boosting those hormones and they need that, right? Because everything's kind of up and down and fluctuating. And then you've got certain poses. So for example, if you told me, Emily, you were really, really struggling with hip pain, joint pain, or I had toe joint pain, like would wake up in the morning, hobbling to the bathroom, I could give you specific poses for specific symptoms, right? So it's like an all-round helpful practice on so many levels for menopause, but then we can be very specific and targeted too. But it leaves you feeling, can't get my words out, calm, less stressed, more focused, like less brain fog, and it actually gives you more energy, it boosts your energy, at a time when we literally don't have any. So yes.
So Menopause Month is October, as we know, which
Mm-hmm.
ties in very well with talking about autumn, which I know you want to cover off. So
Yeah.
what is the impact of autumn on our well-being in general?
Right. So it's like we don't often think of this, and it's so important. And because our bodies are so sensitive at this stage of life and are going through so much change anyway, like think of like longer dark nights, darker mornings when you wake up. You have this surge in melatonin, which makes you want to sleep more, right? We can't get up. We feel more lethargic, more sluggish. This gives you also a dip in energy, right? And you might not have the motivation to go do the activities that you wanted to do. And let's say your activities were running, for example, you were a runner, the weather can interfere with that as well. But also our serotonin levels, they take a dip. Those are the happy hormones, and that dampens our mood and can leave us feeling a little bit low, which is the last thing we want. Also, think of the change, like I'm feeling it at the moment, the change in temperature alone. You're actually, we tense our bodies. Yeah, it's I went to bed last night. We'd been away for a few days, climbed into bed, and the bed was cold, right? The actual sheets and everything. And I'm curled up in a ball, and you're really tight and you're holding yourself. So that has a knock-on effect because you're creating tension in the body. But also joint pain tends to be aggravated more because we drink less water, right? We might, reach for more warm drinks, but on the whole, you're not drinking as much as you would do in the summer. So you're not hydrating the body the same, and the joints can become dehydrated, dry, and hence painful. So it affects us on a physical, mental, and emotional level more than we would think.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you've touched on some of the symptoms, but are there any other symptoms that you feel are aggravated by autumn? I guess mood.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, think about, in summer you have more hot flashes and night sweats because there's more heat to contend with. Well, you're taking that away, so you've got like less hot flashes, less anger and rage. actually, because you haven't got as much heat fired up in the body, but you then tip towards a lower mood, more lethargic, like low self-esteem. We tend to eat more. We reach for comforting foods like a hot chocolate with loads of swirly cream on the top. And yeah, we then tend to gain some weight, and then we tip into like, oh God, you know, self-loathing, low self-esteem, and so on. Joint pain because we drink more water, and also less energy because of the melatonin, and also more fatigue. It's like the less you do, the more tired you become. But
So
it's
true.
hard to get motivated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes you find energy by doing something, but you haven't got the energy to do it. So it's like a vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so yeah, specific menopause symptoms it affects, as well as overall.
And how can yoga help then as we come into autumn?
The beauty of yoga is that, and specifically menopause yoga, which I teach and I'm qualified for, is that you can tailor your yoga to suit your mood and your energy. And, you know, yoga doesn't necessarily mean moving. If you are not enticed by, you know, activity and like moving the body as such, there are passive styles of yoga where you sit and you don't move and you hold a pose for a long time. And one is restorative, and that is beautiful because it's literally like melting into a mat, letting go and just feeling the body give and you give, and it's just lovely. And it's relaxing, restoring the nervous system, calming the nervous system, which is at the root of all the anxiety and the overwhelm and everything. You've also got yin yoga, again, a passive yoga where you sit, but you can target your joints with that style of yoga. So it might be like a very gentle hip opening pose and so on. You've also got Yoga Nidra, which I've recently added to my teaching. And Yoga Nidra, get this, right? 1 hour of Yoga Nidra is equivalent to 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, I'm
Sleep.
in. Sounds great.
Yeah. And you know what? You can do it in bed. You do it lying down, right? So it's
That sounds like my sort of yoga.
I recently wheeled it out to my members, and oh my God, like it's a game changer. It really is. And yeah, so I've incorporated it into my teaching, and you lie there and you are guided by me to obey certain commands, relax certain parts of the body, take your thoughts to different places. So it's not like a meditation where you're having to stop thinking. It's a meditation where you are actively having to think, but it takes you out of thinking yourself, so that you are letting go of all the clutter and the should haves, the wish I'd done this and I've got to do this, to being in the moment, to just letting go. And it's a sleep-based meditation, but you don't actually sleep. But your brain waves are taken into that state. You know, the bit just before you fall asleep, it's actually a really good bit because you know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh yes, especially if you've been tossing and turning and you can feel yourself going, that's where you are more receptive to everything that you're listening to. So yeah, so that's Yoga Nidra. But any, you know, when we're talking about low mood and having no energy and so on, just very, very short, gentle sequences, just opening up the body. So like releasing tension from the shoulders and so on. But all the time in yoga, you are working the spine. And by working the spine, it links to every organ in the body. So this is the thing about detoxifying, you boosting the optimal functioning of every organ in the body by working with the spine. And yeah, meditation, which is part of yoga, everybody says it's separate, it's actually part of yoga. And meditation, I teach my ladies 5 minutes. 5-minute meditation is all you need. Just sit with yourself for 5 minutes. And who cares if you do your shopping list in 5 minutes? You know, if that's all you do, at least you sat still. You sat still and you like switch, disconnect from lots of other things. And just doing that for a few times a week helps clear brain fog and makes you a little bit more focused. So yoga can help a lot in any season, but particularly as we move into this one. Yeah, because we've got lots of choice, yeah, with which to work with.
And aside from yoga and meditation, obviously, are there any other practices that you recommend alongside it?
Yes, so obviously yoga and meditation, journaling. I teach a lot on journaling because journaling is so powerful. And when, you know, there's an upsurge in anxiety and overwhelm and low mood and so on, journaling is a very powerful way to have a conversation and say some of the things that maybe you might not want to say to a person. But it's like a brain dump too. Very powerful when you wake up in the morning, can be very positive in creating the kind of day you want, making some positive statements and what you want out of your day and so on. But equally, when you go to bed, you know, what was I grateful for today? You know, I always say to my ladies, you know, there's not every day is good, but there's something good in every day. So look for it because it's there. And you want to go to bed going, oh, for God's sake, I didn't do this. Oh, I can't believe it. I should have. And do you know what? I spoke to her. She really wound me. And I wish I'd said this. And you know, that script that keeps going, right? Journaling is a lovely way to stop it and commit pen to paper. I mean, it's almost like a symbolic act, writing it down and kind of pulling out the positive things. A guided journal. I offer guided journaling where I provide the prompts so that, you know, you are answering what's there. So that's very powerful. But also affirmations, yeah, saying when you feel yourself wobbling, when you feel yourself losing control, when you feel that big wave coming and you feel you're going to just lose yourself, have a positive affirmation to hand, like, I am gonna get through this. I will survive. I am brave. I am courageous. I am strong. That you can really connect with, and you keep repeating it, and it becomes like a little anchor.
Yeah.
At the beginning of every, for those who practice yoga will know, the beginning of every yoga session, we always set an intention. That's like an affirmation. What do you know, wish from your yoga practice? And then we revisit it at the end. And interestingly, in Yoga Nidra, before you kind of enter this brainwave state where you're lying, doing nothing, you also set an intention and then you recall it at the end. First thing in the morning, last thing at night, great for journaling. They're also the two best times of day to commit to an affirmation or intention, which is just a positive statement like, I welcome more peace in my life. Yeah, as corny as that might sound, I welcome wellness into my life, right? Say it in the morning when you first wake up, say it in the evening, because your brain states are a bit calmer and the subconscious kind of takes it all in. We also kind of tagged on to yoga is other self-care activities as well, like walks in nature, you know, getting plenty of fresh air and nutrition, the right nutrition and so on. So that's kind of on the fringes. But in the main, it's affirmation, mindset work, yoga, meditation, and journaling. Very, very powerful. All really, really useful tools to practice on a daily basis and have as a little suite of habits that you do when you wake up.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I know you've got a wellness challenge coming up. Are these things
Yeah.
all covered in that?
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. So we have 7 days to a better you. 7 days that includes a little bit of yoga, a little bit of meditation, some journaling, and some affirmations to carry you through the day, and then some tips for self-care. Right. So it's an opportunity for some ladies, some of my members who practice yoga with me all the time, to maybe try some other things that they don't normally do. Or I have some ladies who say, oh my God, I just can't do journaling. I just can't get the hang of it. But I think when you're guided as part of a challenge and there's a group of people all doing something at the same time, it can be more positive, you create more momentum. So it starts on Monday, the 3rd of October. Enrollment's open for anyone who wishes to join. And for those who go, oh, yoga, can't do yoga, never done it before, so I can't do that. I have 2 yoga videos and one is for complete beginners. So, you know, I recognize we all have to start somewhere, and I always cater for complete beginners, because I was once too.
I was about to ask about beginners, but you've covered that. You've got ahead of me. So
Yeah.
where can people find out more about this, about yoga for menopause and about working with you?
Okay, so I have my group, Yoga for Peri/Menopause, and it's a lovely community of ladies, most of whom are beginners. They're not, you know, super experienced yogis. A lot of them who have started yoga solely with me at this stage of life, which is when I started yoga, as you know. They can come in there, and when they're in there, they can access my free app, which they can enjoy the content in there for a month and get a flavor of what it is. And then they can upgrade to my membership, which is a guided journey to learning yoga, not just doing it, and you're part of a community. Everyone's all following the same path. And I also have a book now, which I have just rolled out, and that is Beat Menopause with Yoga, and it's how to get incredible results on the mat. Because when I was doing yoga, and you're like, oh, I need to find some books on yoga, and you start looking around and they're all like all these poses, and no one really tells you, you know, from an idiot's point of view, and I'm not insulting anyone out there, I'm probably insulting myself, but no one really tells you what it's about and how it works, right? And you know, I came to yoga and I was very reluctant, and I had such a bad image of it. And yeah, so I thought, no, there's room for this book, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, so it takes you on a journey of, you know, where the hell am I, what do I do with the yoga mat, how do I do this, and what the different styles are, just a little understanding of what they are, how it can help you on all these different levels, and then how it would really work best for you, right? And I am totally unconventional. I go off piste, and I don't tell people to do an hour-long yoga class. And I say, roll out your mat for 15, 20 minutes. Do it 3 times a week. You will divide that 1 hour class up into 3 20 minutes, because you'll get more from doing that than you will from a 1 hour class. Yeah. So it's kind of a little bit unconventional, but yeah, so I teach them how to get the best results. And yeah, so that's my new book. So what else? App, my book, my group, and my membership. We're done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julie.
You are most welcome. Nice to talk to you. And anyone in any questions, drop me a line, and namaste.
Perfect.